And guys, I know you've been waiting for this for quite some time. It is me, Robert Storms, going to be your podcaster from the Higher T brand. Yes, I've been waiting for this specific podcast to start for already quite a few weeks, maybe in months. In my past, I wanted to start a podcast, and now I have finally started it. A lot of people have been asking me to start, and I'm really excited to see where it leads. And I'll try to make it as unique and as real as possible. No real editing, no nothing, just purely me. So if you really care about or like what I speak about, it will not really even matter. So been sharing a lot of interesting parts about my life, my perspectives, and people really did like to listen to it and think it's kind of unique in some way. And yeah, today's episode, for the first one, I would like to start off with you must study the winners. What I mean by this is before you play the game, study the winners. If you don't like or want their life, don't play the game. Every win has a price. If you don't want the winner's daily stress or sacrifice, don't chase their trophies. Being a winner, it is hard. It is unimaginably hard, and I hate the fact that social media has completely destroyed the idea of actual success. The biggest problem that I see nowadays is when you sit on social media and you see these influencers, business owners that mostly make their money off specifically social media and brand deals, or they sell some kind of product that they have made because of the fact that they have a lot of followers, right? And they make this video as it is their everyday life. As you may know, a lot of people have been making these videos of what they do every single day, at what time, and it looks super cool. But the one thing people do forget is that is not their everyday life. That is not their everyday life. It is just a piece of art or a movie, as I love to call it. What we watch and see here, we forget that this is a movie, but it's through a phone. And the reason why we think this is real life is because it is short. They make the video short, under a minute, and you start to believe, especially when a lot of people start doing it, that that's actually their everyday life. And when you keep on watching those videos, you start to think, hey, everybody's doing this. Why am I not doing it? And you start to become more depressed. You start to realize that your life is not maybe as great as you may think it is. And then that can make you become worse, sadder, and put you in a really difficult spot from which ones you can really get out of. Of course, when you start to understand that life is not sunshine and rainbows, and in reality, it takes a lot of effort, where did that person go or went to, then you start to realize that maybe that business, that entrepreneurship route is not really for you. Because we have to look at both perspectives here. When I started this whole journey, the first thing that I ever tried was dropshipping. Completely failed. First thing was with the wrong business partner, and also was doing the wrong stuff I shouldn't be doing, just not completely related to dropshipping at all. I did not even know what I was doing, right? But on social media, when you see these videos, they make sure it is easy. I even have seen these Shopify ads. All of a sudden, they are not as easy to make, and they're not as easy to make sure that your product gets sold, because there's so much competition out there. And I'm not saying you cannot really become a successful dropshipper. I'm just saying that it is just out of this world nowadays, especially how expensive it is. You have to have the right supplier. You have to have the correct ads. If your ads don't perform, you're wasting money. If the product is bad, you're also wasting money. There's so many minuses and risk to it, that there's just no point of even trying, to be honest, this specific business model. But the internet, as an example, makes it really simple to do. I was also one of those people who got caught up to it. I hope I didn't knock off the mic. Continuing as I was talking about, you have to analyze. That was my biggest mistake. You have to analyze everything you want to do. You have to analyze the people you're looking up to. Do you really want their life? Because we all know we're only showing the highlights of it. The best example I can give to you is Michael Phelps. he is the most decorated Olympian ever. I think he's the greatest athlete of all time. Not purely because of athletics, but just purely because of his ability to do what he did on such a high level and win every single medal, and specifically the first spot. That means nobody had a chance to win against him, right? And you see this and it seems so cool, so many wins, woo! But then you realize that he starts talking about his training process, about his diet, the way he wakes up, to what he does every single day. He sacrifices his family time, he sacrifices his everyday free activities for just being great. And it sounds great until you realize that it is 10 times harder than it actually seems. And you are lost into this loop and you can't really get out of it. That's something I think everybody should really focus on, is focusing on specifically analyzing the winners or the people that they look up to. And if you really don't like the sacrifices they're making, don't pick their career. Just don't. You're going to be left more sad or more desperate than ever, because that's not going to be your thing. And you're also going to feel a lot more lost, and just spinning in circles. The second thing I would like to really focus on is look at the people 20 years ahead of you. If their life looks miserable, you're currently on the wrong path. That's why I said in the previous point, really specifically, made sure you study the winners. You must study how their life looks. A great example here is bodybuilding. People love looking jacked. Most people, specifically men. And the biggest problem that I see nowadays is the steroid intake. It has increased so much. I have a friend who goes to my gym, and he studies in school. Of course, what else can you do in school? And he had to make a project, any kind, and he chose to pick the average, not the average, but the person. Come on, Robert, come on. He chose to ask every single person, plus minus, who he mostly sees in the gym, are they natural or not? And believe me or not, when I found out that 70% of people in my gym are on some kind of gear, even a little bit, you start to question, is everybody trying to just fast travel their progress? That's what they also say. Take the safe path, take the right path, and don't take any shortcuts. Because if you take steroids, you stop producing natural testosterone. You can increase your natural testosterone yourself. Eat correctly, eat whole foods. As my favorite podcaster Michael Smoke says, if it didn't grow from the ground, if it didn't grow from a tree, if it didn't have a mom and dad, don't eat it. It's not good for you. That's why it's very important that you look into what you eat. And most people don't really care about the eating part. They just care about the fact that they can take something. You're going to, at least what I have heard, the main primary increases are you feel stronger, of course, and you also feel more energetic. And you also develop anger issues, but that's another side thing, maybe for a different day. Either way, it makes you perform better. But you have to look at people who have taken steroids. Of course, I can't take every single person because I don't know everybody who takes steroids, but specifically the ones that have consistently taken steroids, which are with a lot of issues. They have taken so much gear in their life. When they become 40, 50, they realize that they are not mobile anymore. They barely can move. CBum, in my opinion, the greatest bodybuilder of all time, he now is trying to become more athletic. He tried to run if I'm not mistaken, a 60 or 50 meter sprint. He sprained, I think, not sprained, but he pulled, I think, both of his legs muscles. Achilles, ACL, he pulled everything. He just couldn't run a sprint for 60 meters because he just doesn't live a normal lifestyle. He lives this bodybuilder lifestyle. That's why I'm saying, so importantly, you must study who you want to become. And if you don't want their life 20 years from now, really consider if that is something that you want to do, or if that is something that you want to maybe enjoy from the side and maybe do it, but don't take it as serious. Because if we're being honest, I think nobody wants to look crippled by the age of 40 or look miserable with no real friends or family members at the age of 50 or 40 and just live in this big house by yourself. So if you're going to study somebody, study people who not only succeed at making money, as most people want to make money, but also study people who have great relationships with their parents, with their kids, with their wives, with their friends, how they balance things out. Because you have to go insane, I would say, for the first 5, 6, maybe even 10 years of your life. But after 30, there's no real reason for you not to build something else in your life, which can genuinely make you happier as a person. And a third most, I would say, important lesson that you have to understand is, at the end of the day, you need to give your absolute all, your absolute best at what you pick to do. If you're going to pick something that you're going to dedicate your life to completely, 100%, you must pick something you're willing to do and what you're willing to sacrifice for. If you're going to lose friends, lose people around you, or lose the people that you think are your friends into something that you realize is not really meaningful, then is the success the money? I just sometimes forget how to speak. Is the success and money really that worth it? Is the Ferrari going to make you happy? Is the business that you have, does it really bring a benefit to the world? Does it help people? Does it bring some kind of joy to it? Because if it doesn't, then it's just another money scheme. And Tony Robbins, I heard once talked about this. He said, when you have a business that helps people and provides for society, you will never need to worry about your business going bankrupt because it has a demand. And if it has a demand, you will never have this question of, will people buy from me? Also, if you don't have this purpose and this wantingness of helping people, you will have your money, you will make your bucks, right? But there are a lot of people who make this money and realize that their business doesn't really bring anything to it, and their business just loses it. And not only their business, themselves as well, because they don't have purpose at all. And by the way, guys, this is it. This was it. Really serious, I know, for a really serious first episode for me. But this is what I do. This is what I like to think about. This is what I think about most of the days. I try to pay attention to the small details and realize how important life is. As right now, I also like to put in, this is from Michael Smoke. He does this. He's one of my biggest influence ever in my life, how you should live your life. And he ends off his day with a step check. And right now, I know that I haven't walked at all. I have usually walk 10K steps a day. I have 230 steps right now. Not good at all. But yeah, either way, hopefully, guys, you get your 10K steps and get your life moving forward on a better note. See you guys.